Hey, you guys, I want to talk about stones, jewelry, stones, wealth, and poverty. I find it shameful that wealthy people would spend thousands and sometimes millions of dollars on jewelry, on stones. And some of these very nations spend thousands and millions and billions of dollars on developing weapons of mass destruction. And it is even more unbelievable to me that people have allowed it. People don't question, hey, why is it that we have people in the streets? And why is it that our salaries are not meeting the demands of inflation, or whatever, however you want to term that? It's not meeting it. How come people are underpaid, overworked? Because the people who mine these stones are the ones who are enslaved. So if we all agree that slavery is not good, slavery should be illegal, should have always been illegal. But sometimes the very people from the very towns, and still today, that's the way it is, that the children and the poor are enslaved and sold and bought by their own people. So that's why I don't trust any of you. Friends and family, no. And the reason why I'm saying this so harshly is because although we are brothers and sisters and we must love one another, and we need to understand that we are the branches, okay? And we hold the leaves for the healing of the nations. We need to not trust like we should trust God. We can't. It is important to trust to a certain extent, but we cannot trust 100%. The only one you should fear and trust 100%, 110% is God. And believe me, there's a one true God above all. I may not know what all is going on here on earth. I don't. But I am able to see something that some of you see and some of you don't see. Some of you don't care. I know that we have, money coming in and money going out, and that's what makes the world go round. It is important to have money, right? To pay bills. Otherwise you go to jail, or otherwise you get in trouble with whomever you owe money to. You can end up homeless. So my question to the wealthy within our nations, don't you feel guilty flaunting your wealth to impress who? Who are you trying to impress? Because you're not impressing God. So, who are you trying to impress? Why do you want to fit in with people who would not accept you just on who you are by yourself? Why would you want to fit in with people who only accept you and respect you or fear you because of what you have and not for who you are? That's my question. True friendship and true family comes through the hard times. That's why I'm grateful to be here, even though this is not my family, blood family, as in immediate family, because we're all one blood, that's true. But I have to speak to you in terms of both ways. I have to speak to you in terms like we don't belong to one another, but we belong to one another. We belong to one another as members of one body of Christ, but we don't belong to one another as in people don't own people, but we do belong together as one body, different members of one body, but we don't own people. We don't own people. When Princess Diana walked the earth, everybody seemed to be obsessed with her. And I would see it in the magazines. Everything was about the royals, mostly Diana. People were obsessed with her, and they criticized her. And she was a very humble woman. She could have had a lot more wealth as she desired it. But that's not what she desired in her heart. The desire of her heart was to give to people, to give them love, to listen to them, and for them to feel that they were understood, that somebody cared. And she was the most beautiful lady. And she was a mom, and they just robbed her. You know, they robbed her from they robbed her. And to the point, they robbed her privacy, they robbed her everything. Up until the last minute. And they wanted to capture this in photography. So this is a message to not only the wealthy people, but the media and photographers, people in the entertainment industry, and the paparazzi. And I do believe that because of how this ended with Diana, it's been a lesson for all. And what we can learn from Diana was her love for people, her love for family and her children, and the fact that she didn't need attention from the media like some people. And when she wanted attention for the right reasons, she was criticized. She was bold to go overseas and face the mines, the landmines that were out there. She was very gutsy. That's what we need to learn from Diana. She was not afraid to put on her shorts and her tennis shoes and go out there with the man to find out firsthand what is happening to these children who were losing their limbs because of all of this pollution on the earth. She was not afraid to touch the poor and to hug them and kiss them. Because the human touch is so important. And she was and is living in the body of Christ. And she was a gift, and she is a gift. And so we need to learn from her the good things, and we need to learn that we're not to persecute people to death for the sake of, for money, for greed. It's a shame. And I'm very glad to see that her children turned out good children. And I know that they will pass that goodness down to their children and their children's children. Because they came from good, from goodness, from good seed. And if I can describe Diana in one word, it would be love. And so we need to love one another, and we need to stop being so frivolous and spending millions and billions of dollars on stones that children and the poor had to mine for you. So we need to improve the quality of people in these industries. We need to improve the quality of their environment, and their benefits and their salaries need to be increased. We need to ensure the safety and the well-being of those who are digging these stones for us. Need to ensure that people are getting paid what they're worth, and that we're not exploiting people by turning a blind eye to it, pretending like we don't know. We need to know where it comes from and how it's happening. So go there like Diana did. Put your shorts on and your tennis shoes and go over there firsthand and go see what's happening. Talk to the men. Go walk along with the men and go see firsthand. Make sure that these women and children and men too are not exploited by their own governments, by their own villages, by their own people. Make sure that these people are in a safe working environment, as safe as possible, and that they're compensated accordingly when there's danger involved. Making sure they have benefits, and making sure that they have proper salary, so that you can justify charging so much. And so this way, this money goes directly to the people, and we don't have to go on the media, to be in a newspaper or a magazine article or on television being photographed that we're donating to charity, because we'll be responsible from the very beginning, and we'll be giving not charity, but we'll be helping directly, like Diana did. She would go directly to the hospital. She would go directly to where it needed to be, and go see firsthand. They didn't want Diana to shine for who she really was. They wanted her to be just a pretty little doll that they could use for their, because it looked good, like a little beautiful little thing. People don't own people. She was a free spirit because she was of God. And she didn't want anybody to be micromanaging her. She wanted to speak about important things like AIDS. And they didn't want her to speak for herself. But she spoke anyway. And she did what she did, and it was good, and we need to learn from her. Up until the end, her last words were, "Take care of my children." She was a mother of 2. Her family. So I want us to rectify. We need to right this thing we're in. This earth is a vessel, and we're traveling within our solar system through the space of our body. We are so small, so small. And the whole kingdom is within us. Sometimes we have to go micro to understand the macro. So let us look inside ourselves. Let us look at ourselves in the mirror. Ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here on earth? What on earth am I doing? What am I doing on earth? What are we? Because He is a personal God, and He's also a God who's with you and you, your so-called enemy. And we are one body of humanity, and we are very small. But together, we are big. So, I believe that, for example, the Hope Diamond, which was given to America, it was a gift. It originally came from India. I believe that instead of India and Pakistan and the United States and Israel and Palestine and Saudi Arabia and France and England, instead of y'all continuing with this nuclear weaponry of yours, we should disarm, quickly disarm, safely, like yesterday. Because we have too many hackers. And there's a lot of these bombs throughout the earth in territory that's supposed to be non-nuclear because of NATO mandated it. We have got to recognize what we're in. Okay? This is our vessel, and we are already traveling through the universe. The universe is always expanding and always returning. So we need to understand that me equals we, and we equals me. When we look in the mirror of heaven. Okay. And we need to disarm together. And we need to repurpose the materials in non-lethal manner. And we need to detox our waters that we ourselves have polluted. And I believe that since we have been given a gift, the Hope Diamond, which came from India, I believe that the least we can do is help them clean the Ganges. Because the Ganges is supposed to be for the healing of the body, but it's not, because it's polluted. And it's been polluted for a long time, and the whole world knows it. And everybody turns a blind eye to it because we are so selfish and self-centered. We can do it one by one, just like bone to bone come together for a vast army to fight evil with live. We are capable of doing this without bombs and guns. Live, love, 4-letter word. I-O. We are one ahead from the inside. So, we already know our mission. We already know. We have been given instructions. And it is cost effective, and it is not dangerous. On the contrary, I mean, it is if you get into the polluted water, but let us help India clean the water. Yes, we are capable. Yes, I thought when I joined the military, I thought, that we could, like help one another. The way that we were trained in the military, we were trained to have a buddy system. Like, and there's healthy competition, healthy competition between the sister and the brother flight. Like, who makes it down to the chow hall first, and we would do that all the time. We were trying to beat our brother flight, but it was healthy competition, And we were told that we weren't supposed to be walking around with strings and wrinkled clothing and boots that were not shined. No. You're going to get points deducted for that. You're not supposed to look like a sack of potatoes. So you were supposed to be proper posture and all sharp looking shiny boots, or else. Oh, they would get on you about those boots. And we were supposed to be looking after each other, making sure our hair was up above the collar, making sure we didn't have any strings coming out, that we were wrinkled. We were supposed to help one another. It's called the buddy system. Well, we can do that too with nations. Like, hey, look at your water. We've got the resources to help you. And that way you can help us too. We help one another with our resources. Instead of like, I'm going to take over your land, and here I have weapons, so... And then they're like, oh, no, we're not. We're going to go to another country, and they're going to give us weapons, and we're going to defend ourselves because this is our land, and so it goes. Okay? But remember that the world was created by men. Men did not create man. God created you in the beginning. Even if you want to go all the way back to the bacteria, I will highlight it for you, how small we are. We're still small. Growing and developing. Getting better and better. That's why we need to write and write it and write it and write it, because it gets better and better. It's not supposed to get worse and worse. That just don't make no sense. So, that's what I thought going in the military was all about. That's why we have so much discipline. Like, you have to fold your clothes this way, and we're going to measure it. You have to follow instructions. Are we not saying, so help me God, when we go in the military? So why are we not following instructions from God? Huh? ¿Qué es eso? Why do we have so many churches all throughout the place? All in France and Italy and England and America, all these churches. What do you go to church for? Huh? Bueno, pues.